Hi guys, in this video I'll be telling you about how to crack AIIMS in just 1 month. So you might be thinking why you should believe anything that I actually say. This is just some random video that you have come across. Well, using these strategies, I was able to come down to a rank of 17 from 2600 in just 1 month of preparation. This exam I have given is DAMS AIIMS CBT. That is a mock AIIMS mock test, the first AIIMS mock test probably of a new pattern in 2019 April, and in just 1 month I was able to come to rank 17 on May 5th. So let's get started. There is a saying that right question comes before right answer. So make sure that you're very clear about what you want to read and how you're going to read it. So here is the plan. First, I started with old question papers. That means the previous year's papers of AIIMS, PGI, and JIPMER. I used to gather all those papers, either from, you can find them on DAMS eMedicos app or any guidebook for that matter. But if you are going through a guidebook, I would suggest you not to read the explanation because that is going to waste your time. They give you vast information from which you need to pick up what is important. It is very difficult and time consuming. So just go answer question and answer, because by the end of this, our target is to analyze the pattern of questions that are being asked. Suppose you are doing this for ENT, then by the end of doing this all question papers, you should know what pattern of questions are frequently being asked, which topic is being focused, and when you are actually reading the notes, you should be able to anticipate the next coming question. So after this, if you have already listened to the class, then read your notes. Well, I have had notes for some topics and some I had never attended any class. So if I had a notes, I used to read a notes. If I did not have a notes, then that's not a problem at all. You can directly do subject-wise tests. So in this subject-wise test, our target is to analyze where we are going wrong. Suppose DAMS had around 200 questions in each subject-wise test. Initially, I used to get maybe around 80 to 90 corrects in the first go. So in after this 80 to 90 corrects, I used to analyze where I have gone wrong. Is it a memory question or is it a conceptual question? If it is memory, then that's all right. If after repeated revisions, I'm going to make it correct. But if it's a concept, where am I lacking? Is it something that is new to me, or is it something that I'm quite confused, or which I'm not really understood, which I haven't really understood? So by analyzing this, I would make sure that all my concepts are clear and all the memory points, or I would write in a one notebook. I would see the video solution and make a notes of that. And there's one more really interesting thing that was given by DAMS. I'm sure every coaching institute must have made something of this pattern. So use whichever resources you have. And this AIIMS capsule, the speciality is that all the important topics in one subject are put at one place. So this ENT and which I really loved was pathology, and they had given the most important topics in a tabular form and most frequently asked topics. And this we can also watch it in fast track. So it was a video of 1 hour length. I used to watch it in half an hour, and I used to make a notes of all that because these are the topics which frequently keep repeating. And if you cover all these things, you will be able to answer 60 to 80% of questions in your exam. And the next comes the most important part, revision. Most of us are scared of revising because we are afraid of knowing that we forgot things. So what do we do to overcome this fear? It is said that you will forget 90% of what we have learned in the next 48 hours. So our target is to not let the curve fall down. We need to keep our curve up high. So how do we do this? Suppose you have taken out a subject that you have learned 3 days ago, and today it might take you 2 to 3 hours to study the same topic. But read it again tomorrow. It will take you only 90 minutes. Read it again the day after. Then it will take you only 30 minutes. Read it again the day after. It will take you only 10 minutes to revise the same topic. So this is how you will cheat your brain into remembering things better. So how many hours to study? Is there any particular number? Some people say they have read for 14 to 16 hours. Well, is it really necessary? No, it's not. It's the quality that matters. How much time you have put into actually understanding the subject and remembering what you have learned, that is more important. Suppose you have taken out an ophthalmology, some topic you started studying. You've read for 30 minutes. Try to analyze after that 30 minutes how much you remember. So by using this, you are not only testing how much you have learned, you will be more focused, and you are also revising. See, this is one revision, and you are trying to recollect things. This is another revision. And if you have any of your friends by your side, you can also try teaching them. That will be your third revision, right? So it is the quality that is most important, not the number of hours. And let's start with the grand test. In our first grand test, I don't know, my first score was around maybe 125 to 130 carats out of 300. Some of you might have even less than that, but that's all right. It doesn't matter how less you are. Our target is to go to around maybe 190 to 200. I have never really crossed 200 in my preparation, but I have actually reached 190 by the end of 1 month using this important topic strategy. Next, how do we finish 19 subjects in 1 month? Well, the secret is you don't have to. Not everybody knows this. We don't have to finish all the subjects, but we need to finish all the important topics. So how do you know which topic is important? People keep asking, sir, how do you know what is important in the notes, or how do we actually, I keep reading everything, but then I forget everything. Then how do you cover this? I have already told you a solution for this problem. So we started with solving old question papers first. So now you know which topics to focus on. And you also know which topics might get repeated and what question might come in the next exam. So solving old question papers will help you with this. Then how do you study? The major subjects like medicine and surgery have to be studied in an integrated approach. Suppose you have started reading GIT from medicine. You should also read anatomy, pathology, surgery, and pharmacology related to the GIT. In this way, you will be able to integrate all the subjects at once, and also you will have a more better knowledge of the subject. During an exam, for example, in the new pattern of AIIMS, there are true and false questions. So from one topic, they'll give you around maybe 5 to 6 options, and you have to mark whether it is true or false. So during this type of approach, what they're going to ask you is, from that topic, they'll pick one question from anatomy, one question from pathology, one question from surgery. So in the exam, you will have to think about all the subjects at once. So, but if you prepare in that manner, it will be very fast, easier for you to recollect the things in the exam, and it will also be very faster because your study pattern itself is like that, and the exam is nothing new to you. So this will help our brain consolidate things better. And how do you remember things better? These are some approaches which really help me. I used to make flashcards every day. Whatever topic I have read that day, I used to make maybe around 2 to 3 flashcards. And by the end of 30 days, I was having around 60 to 70 flashcards with me. These flashcards, every day I used to revise. Again, first day I had 2 to 3, then I had 5 to 6, then I had maybe 10 to 12. Every day I used to go through these slides. These flashcards help me to put my temporary memory into permanent memory by presynaptic potentiation. You might have studied this in physiology, hippocampus. This is what I'm doing, repeatedly firing my neurons with the same information. So that will put them in the permanent memory. Our target in this 30 days is to create as much permanent memory as possible, because our target is long term and not short term. So these flashcards, I used to draw images, or I used to have staging of endometrial carcinoma, ovarian carcinoma, image based mostly, because images are retained faster in our brain, and it is very easy to recollect image from a textbook rather than theory from the textbook or from the notes for that matter. And see, there were around 60 to 70 slides by the end of 30 days. And this is something I'm really proud of. This is the chart that I had made from carbohydrates chapter in biochemistry. This chart has glycogenolysis, glucogenesis, and glycolysis in the same paper. So this will help me put all the things together. So this in my notes, it might be in some 20 pages, but this I have put in 1 page. See, with this I can revise much faster. This will take me hardly 10 to 15 minutes. While you're studying itself, make a short notes. Like, don't write too much, but just the important things which you tend to forget, or the names of the enzymes. If suppose some question comes from this, it will strike me much faster by doing this kind of study. And before sleeping every day, Now I'll tell you the importance of images, which I've already told you. And so how did I approach the image-based questions, and how was my strategy? Then I used, before sleeping every night, I used to go through Netter Atlas in my mobile. You might have a text, or your friend might have, just borrow one and go through the images. If you don't have Netter Atlas, then that's all right. There are many other sources to get the images. I used to go through this atlas and look at the images. These images help build my 3D memory of anatomy. Anatomy is all about images, right? And by looking at the images, I will be able to like trace a nerve or trace an artery, and origins and insertions of muscles and the bone structures. So this will help me in my answering my surgery questions and also my orthos questions through this image based approach. What are the other sources of images that you'll be getting? There's stamps dvt, which is the best ever. In this DVT, there were, actually I never really had a chance to attend DVT, but I had access to it. So I used to just go through the slides. I used to go through all the images that were given in the DVT slides. They also added new drugs and everything. Just go through the, I used to just go through the slides because they focus or tend to focus on important topics which keep repeating in the exams. Our the main thing that we need to remember is that exams are all about answering the most commonly asked questions, not something difficult. If it is difficult for you, it is difficult for everyone. So forget about the difficult questions. Make sure you don't make mistake in something which is simple, and never really make a silly mistake like not reading the question properly, and that should be deleted from from your preparation. During my preparation, there was one app called AIIMS ebooks. In this app, there were slides on all the subjects. Suppose for pathology, there were slides of histopathology, and there were microbiology slides, and there were pharmacology slides, which really helped me during my preparation because they were like a quick revision of the entire subject in one go. And I used to revise all my flashcards before sleeping. And creating your own index, how do you do this? It's very simple. Suppose you have listened to an 8 hours of regular class in dance, and you have made a notes of around 50 pages. It'll take you a long time to revise all these 50 pages. So the same day after going home, you just it takes you hardly 10 minutes because your memory is fresh. You'll be able to recollect things better. Make a tabular form or point wise what all topics have been taught that day and the important concepts. Don't write too much in it, just one page in the front of your book. And like if you did not leave any pages in the front, you can just stick it in the front. This will help you later on in the revision because once you open the book, you know which topics to study. And just by seeing the index, you try to recollect as much as you can, and then start reading your notes. Then this will give you a very faster revision, and also you will know where to focus on. This is something which I have made during my preparation. This is for bleeding disorders, and you can make your own notes like this. Facing the fears. For me, biochemistry and pharmacology were the scariest subjects. So every morning I have put 4 hours aside for biochemistry and pharmacology. Yeah, this I have developed by a small example I'd like to tell you. As a child, I was very scared of water. Once I had actually drowned in a swimming pool, and then I was really scared of water. And so I have decided that I would go scuba dive. One day I would go scuba diving, then I would overcome the fear of water. Well, yeah, I really tried. But then I had a panic attack and I couldn't do the scuba diving. The mistake I have done here is that I have straight away gone to scuba diving. Well, I should have initially put my legs in a pool of water before actually jumping into the ocean, right? So similarly, if to overcome this fear of biochemistry and pharmacology, I had put aside these 4 hours. 2 hours I read biochem and 2 hours I read pharmacology every single day. In these 2 hours, I would either learn a new topic or revise something that I have already learned or do some old questions. It doesn't matter whatever you're doing, but read it for 2 hours every single day. By the end of 7 to 10 days, I was really surprised that I was able to complete both the subjects, and also I wasn't afraid of the subject anymore. Like on seeing the question, I'm not panicked because I'm seeing it every day for the 7 to 10 days, and it actually helped me overcome the fear of the subject. Then coming on, these are the strategies which help me. And coming to how to approach your exam. On the night before exam or 1 to 2 days before exam, I used to go through all question papers once again, which I have already done. Just go through them once. Just see how the question is being asked, because this will put you in a momentum. Like you will be in that pattern of thinking, if how a question is being framed and how you need to think for that type of question. You are already in the momentum, and during exam you will not panic, you will not be scared on seeing the question. It will be just be another grand test that you are doing at home. So it is very important that you do old question papers before the exam. This may sound unusual for you, but it actually worked for me. Like before AIIMS exam, I was going through AIIMS question papers, and before JIPMAR I was going through JIPMAR papers, and before PG I was going through PGI papers. And during exam, make sure that your thinking is in such a way that this is your only exam. Give it your best shot. Even if you are half prepared or not prepared, doesn't matter. You can always recollect what you have previously learned in your undergraduation. So give it your best shot. Take a good breakfast, have a good night's sleep, and this will just be another grand test that you're doing regularly at home. Be aggressive in answering the questions. What I did was in AIIMS, there were maybe around 200 questions. In my first go, I answered around maybe 120, and I had 1 hour left. In this 1 hour, I went through all the questions once again. This time, I was solving the difficult ones previously, which I could not understand or which were too lengthy, because it might actually consume my time, right? And some graphic questions, because for me graphs were very difficult to analyze. So all those I left, and my second go, I was solving all those questions. And I also made sure that I have read the question and answer properly for all the questions, because I cannot risk making any silly mistake in this exam. And I would also suggest you go for an aggressive approach. Answer as many as you can. Try to rule out an answer, because if you're not answering, the probability of actually winning is decreasing. So as long as you are in the race, there is every probability of winning the race. You are just have the same probability as the first bunny in the race at winning. So be in the race to win the race, and make sure that you are very strongly motivated. Find your reason. Why are you doing this? How do you want to see yourself in the next 1 year or in the next few months? Imagine and keep going. Well, these were my ranks, and I was able to achieve this by following these strategies. I would suggest you don't go for multiple sources. Use as much as you can with what you already have. If you have joined some coaching institute, doesn't matter which one. I have joined dance, you might have joined some other coaching institute, but make sure that you actually use all the resources that are available to you, that are provided by them. They're framed in such a way that they contain all the things which are needed to actually get a rank. So just trust them and follow what they're teaching. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope this will help. I'll be really happy if this video will help at least one person to get the rank of their dreams. Thank you.